Okay, so now we are emeralds and above. And let's get started. Who's got questions? If no one has questions, I'll talk. Anyone? Oh, okay. Go.
Hi, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning. So just, I asked Jerica yesterday, but I'm just wondering how you guys are contacting your leads. Because I started to have some leads start to flow in, and there's one that just says customer and doesn't really say anything else. And she's been like that for a couple days. And then there's another one that says for bod, which that one's a lot easier to reach out, I feel. So what the ones that are just membership, like what do we say to them?
So there's a lot. If you don't have access to the Google Drive, ask your upline or their upline or whoever that can plug you up. But there's a lot of scripts in the Google Drive. But for me, I just have a generic email, and it's something along the lines of like, "Hey, I'm so excited for you. You've taken your first steps. I see that you have a free account now. Like, what exactly are you looking for, and what are your health and fitness goals? Like, I'm your fitness coach," kind of like introduce yourself a little bit. I try and keep it as short and sweet as possible because no one wants to read a novel. Neither do I. And so I just kind of introduce myself, ask why they signed up, ask what their fitness goals are, and ask how you can help. And then it changes, if they have a membership, if they got 3 months of bod or whatever. I definitely tell them about a challenge pack. Hey, I don't know if you knew about this deal. You're paying this much for 3 months, but you can get a challenge pack. It's 161 time. It gives you access for a year and Shakeology or Energize and Recover. So I tell them about that deal, and then ask them like if they want any help, like picking out a program. Do they have one in mind? Just kind of, I have like 2 just generic emails, and I use them for whatever lead is appropriate. And save them. Save your emails. Save your scripts so you don't have to write them over and over. Anybody else? Anyone at all? There's so many of you on here. Let's go. Come on. Okay, I want to see by raising of hands. Ashley, yes, this is a new brain to pick. I don't have much left. It's half is in each kid, but what I have left I will give to you. How many of you guys work full-time or part-time? Raise your hand. 1. Okay, outside of Beachbody is what I mean. Okay. How many of you stay home? This is your only job? Okay, we're kind of split half and half here. Okay. I know this has been asked about 1 million times, but I have everyone I'm talking to say money is tight and they can't afford it. Oh, yes. The good old money excuse. There are some people that are just not going to see the value in it. One thing I will say, like, are you showing the value in it? Are you showing in your stories how much they're getting? every now and then I kind of like do a bod tutorial on my stories and show them all the workouts that I get. And I'm like, oh yeah, I only pay for this once for the whole year. It's less than whatever a month. And also, like, there's just some people that are not going to see the value. However, when someone tells me they can't afford it, I usually come back and say, girl, I totally understand. I thought it was a lot too. I don't know if this helps, but when you break it down, you're not only getting like a snack / meal every day for the first month, but you're getting all of these workouts for less than $10 a month, whatever it is. I think that's right, for the entire year. And then you also get my coaching and my groups for the whole year too. That's insane. Like, everybody can afford $10 a month. So if they're still like, yeah, it's just not in the budget right now, you have promo codes right now that you can use. Like, hey, I have a $10 off promo codes. Like, I get it. $160 is not in everyone's back pocket. Like, I didn't want to spend $160. I actually refused to buy a challenge pack for my first group. However, I always talk to people and say, you know, I would love to have you in my next group. I get it that right now it's too tight, but what if we kind of like made a plan so that for my September group, you could grab the first spot? And then I talk to them like, how many times a week do you think you could cut back on Starbucks this month, or fast food, or, you know, whatever? And I try, without being like, hey, let me help you budget your money. I just ask them like, hey, if you really are serious about joining, what do you think that you could cut out this month so that you could grab that first spot in my September group? I'm behind in these over here. Yes. Always follow up. Those people that say money is not right, it's tight right now, you can't do it, that just means not right now. Sometimes it'll mean no forever, but if you don't follow up, somebody else will, and they're going to join somebody's group, and it won't be yours. Because if you've ever read Go for No, and if you haven't, it's free on YouTube, go listen to it. But he says like the average time it takes for somebody to say yes is after being asked like 7 or 9 times. 7 or 9 times. When's the last time you invited somebody 7 times? Anyone? Show of hands. Anyone who's invited somebody 7 times? Yeah, I didn't think so. Go freaking follow up. Okay. Sorry. Ashley put a really good script in this chat over here. Man, you guys are talking now. I couldn't get you to talk, and now you won't shut up. A lot about how cafe latte vegan is my Starbucks and half the cost. Yes, that's a great idea. How it can save money. How has it saved you money? Yep. Challenged her mom to save what she would normally spend on lunch. What do you normally spend on lunch? What if you packed it?
I'm curious, will you talk about how you do connections as, I mean, you talked about this in the new coach call, but I don't know how many of the Emeralds were on. It was really good. You guys should watch the recording. About, she does this in the Mom Cracks. Like, she's very intentional with her time. She does not work all day. She has like set business hours. And so will you talk about how you are like efficient specifically with connections, what your system is to do it?
Sorry, you're cutting out.
How many you're doing a day, that kind of thing.
Sorry, you cut out.
Connections. So how many are you doing a day? Who are you doing them with? How long is it taking you? What do you consider a connection? We talk about that.
Okay, yeah, I can talk about that. So for me, a connection is a private message. I don't count likes and comments as connections because I feel like they're too surface level. I don't track likes and comments. So I think that's a time suck, in my opinion. I only track messages. And if you don't have a system to track, you don't have a business. I'm going to say that again. If you don't have a system, like if you don't write it down, you do not have a business. I don't care if your business is all on sticky notes. It's not the best, but at least it's not floating in your brain where it floats out one ear if you're anything like me. My connections, I started this business as a full-time occupational therapist. I would work an hour when I got home from work, and that's it. I didn't track my business. I was probably the slowest diamond to ever pop in Micah's downline in the history of ever. And now I am a leader of a 7-star, 2-time elite team because I finally started freaking taking my business seriously. And it was while I was working full time. So I don't care where your cracks are, you have cracks. You have time to make this a priority if it's a priority and if it's a goal. So sorry, Ashley, now I forgot what you asked. How I'm making connections, who I'm making connections with.
How many do you do a day and how long does it take?
Yes. Okay. So as a new coach, I would get the trackers, the business activity trackers, whatever, and they would stress me out to no end. And so I started using the categories as a checklist rather than filling things in. Now, I think this tracker is awesome. I think it works for a lot of people, but for me, I was seeing 10 invites and I was forcing invites, right? So I set weekly goals. If that tracker says 10 invites for every day, I would multiply that by 6 or 7, and that was my weekly invite goal, so 60 to 70. If I was really pushing for something in my business, I'd double that. So for myself, I have a weekly connections goal, a monthly connections goal, and I track everything in an Excel, Google spreadsheet, Google Excel, whatever it's called. It's on my computer, and I can look back. I have a tab for each month, so I can look back, and I have a weird color-coded system. It doesn't matter. I just have a list of names. I have, if I message them, I have a column for if I invited them. I just put like X's, like check boxes in each one. And so for me, having a weekly goal and breaking that down over days is helpful to me. And here's why. Sometimes I'll get in my power hour and I always start with inviting. Start with inviting because that's the part that most of us dread the most, and because I have kids. And so sometimes I get a 30-minute nap window, and sometimes I have a full 2 hours. And on the days that I have 2 hours or 30 minutes, if I don't start with inviting, I might never invite. So anyway, sometimes I get in a good niche, whether it's inviting or going down the rabbit hole and finding new followers, and I'm like in the zone, like if you've ever been in the zone, and I'm not going to stop because I hit 10 on my success or my business activity tracker. Oh, well, I'm freaking in the zone. I'm going to keep going. So that's why a weekly goal works well for me. Also, whether you work or you stay at home, you know that some days are like nuts and you don't always have time for a really solid power hour, right? You're fitting it in the cracks. That's the beauty of this business. Some days I have 2 hours, some days I have 30 minutes. So a weekly goal is helpful. That way I'm not beating myself up every day when I'm not hitting a daily goal. But at the end of the week, I can look and see, okay, like, yeah, I hit my goals. Maybe like yesterday and Sunday, Monday, I invited probably more than 200 people. And so Tuesday, I knew was going to be a much more hectic day for me. I didn't send any invites, but I'm hitting a weekly goal. Does that make sense? Who am I connecting with? All of my new followers. I go every single day in your Instagram, your followers, the newest followers are at the top, right? I'm going to people who are watching my stories. And I send them a message like either, hey, I see you watching my stories and realize we've never connected. Where are you from? Or how old are your kids or whatever? Or, hey, I see you watching these workouts from this new program I'm doing. Are you interested in trying it out with us? I'm connecting. Like I said, connections to me are messages. They're not likes. They're not comments. New followers, I like and comment their stuff, and that's not a connection to me. If they follow me back, then I'm connecting. I'm catching up on these. Okay. Okay. You feel like connections is where you struggle because you do them really fast, but they don't have to be real deep. Let me ask you something. If I messaged you, the very first message I ever messaged you, and I was like trying to get really deep, would you be like, what kind of freaking weird internet lady is this? Yes. It's not supposed to be deep. Okay. The first message, if I was deep, if somebody messaged me and it was all like deep, I'd be like, yeah, block, goodbye. This is weird. I'm uncomfortable. Keep it surface level. Keep it surface level. Like, it doesn't have to be deep. Do you have a video or something to show your tracker? A really old one, but let me see if I have. It's always pulled up. Hold on, I'm pulling it up and I'll screen share. Okay. So, no. Okay. This is my tracker. It's so fancy and beautiful and is probably not the best way, so don't take my way as the highway, okay? I literally have a list of names. This column in the first is if they've followed me, they get 1X. If they messaged me back, they get 2 X's, okay? And then over here is that I've sent them a message. Okay. And then you can see I have like notes dispersed out here, and I have these all the way back to a really long, see, I don't even know how to work a bunch of this. I have these all the way back from February 2018. I have a special one for Lift 4. I have a special one for Morning Meltdown where I sent the sample workout. So I work through this list. I will highlight people that I've had really great conversations with. And I find that this kind of obviously helps me keep track of things too, numbers wise, and is great for follow-ups. However, Micah has a really great training on connections and how she uses collections in Instagram, and I am not tech savvy at all. Like, I actually suck at all things technology. It's a miracle I even have, like, I used to do this on pen and paper, okay? In February of 2018, 3 years into my business, is when I switched to digital tracking. If that tells you anything about how great I am with computer things, it should. But Micah has a great training on how she adds people into collections each month on Instagram. So she has like one for each month. So August 2019, she has new coaches, new challengers, 2 different collections. So it's basically my system, but all on Instagram, which helps if you're mobile and you work from your phone a lot and can't always get to your computer. So that is what I'm trying this month, because I need to be more efficient. If you're having conversations, adding value, how do you know when the right time to invite? It's always the right time to invite. I shared this in our new coach in the call right before this, but I used to wait forever to send an invite. Like, I needed to know the person and know their struggles and know what they ate for lunch yesterday and how they felt in 5th grade. And you don't. Someone said, can I please repeat the last thing? I don't know what the last thing I said was. Sorry. You can watch the recording. But for inviting, I'll get to the conversation. I'm just like, hey, are you into fitness too? And it's not weird. If you're posting what you should be in your stories and on your feed, they should know that you love fitness. So asking them if they like fitness too is not weird. And so I'll usually send an initial message. I'm asking where they're from. They tell me where they're from. I ask how old their kids are, or like say something about their job. And then I'm just like, hey, are you into fitness too? Like, within the first few things I'm talking to them. It's not weird. It directs the conversation right to an invite. That's not my invite. Asking them if they're into fitness is not an invite. But they might say, oh, well, I'm really trying to get back. I had a baby 6 months ago. I'm really trying to get back into it. Or, I'm just trying to eat more healthy, or I go to the gym, or I do CrossFit or whatever. And then that's when I can go into an invite. Oh, it's gone. Bye, Shaco. Okay, who else? Let's go. What is your best tip for growing followers organically? Oops, I missed one. Okay, I'll go back. Growing your followers organically is the hardest part of this business for me. You find it hard to keep people around. If you're finding it hard to keep people around, you need to take a look at your content. You need to do an Instagram self-evaluation. Because if you're getting people to follow you and then they unfollow you, yikes, that's a problem. It's probably your content. So look at your content. Is your account someone that you would want to follow? If not, what would you want to see more of? Get somebody else in the business. Like, hey, can you take a look at my Instagram and tell me what I could do better, what more you would want to see? I'm constantly doing this to my own Instagram, right? Like, oh, it's been a while since I posted anything about my kids. Oh, a little too much fitness all at the last 3 posts, whatever. But definitely look at what you're posting if you're finding it hard to keep people around. If you're finding it hard just to grow your following, welcome to the business. It's freaking hard. Again, look at what you're posting. How many connections are you making? If you're going to be on this call and you're going to tell me, oh, I'm following 10 new people a day and my following is growing really slow. Duh, you're following 10 people. 10 people is not enough. Everyone has a ratio. I talk about ratios a lot. Everyone has a ratio. If I follow 10 people, maybe one will follow me back. Out of 10 people that follow me back, maybe one will message me. So now we're up, I followed 20 people and 2 followed me back. If I follow 100 people, maybe 10 follow me back. And out of those 10 people, maybe 1 messaged me. So I had to follow 100 people to get somebody to talk to me back. Okay. So you're kind of getting my point, right? You have to follow a lot of people. Out of every 10 people that message me, maybe 1 will join my challenge group. So now I'm at, like, I don't know, I can't do that math that fast, but 200 people that I followed to get 1 challenge pack. Does that make sense? So everybody has a ratio. You have to work on it. And I alternate between 2 different methods of like finding followers, whether I go to a page or something and just mass follow just by looking at their little circle, making sure they're not a man or a supermodel. And then I just follow. And then another method that I kind of like alternate between days is I'll go to someone's page and I'll click the first person and I'll go to their page and I'll like 3 pictures and I'll comment on a couple, and then the next person. That's obviously a slower way. I'm not going to be able to mass add 100 people at one time doing that, but it's a little bit more quality. So you kind of have to figure out what works for you, what combination, how much you need to spend in each area. But you can't just be adding 5-10 people a day in hopes that your Instagram following is going to grow and that the Instagram world is going to love you and they're going to share it with all their friends, and then overnight you're going to have 10,000 followers. I've been doing this for 4.5 years. I have 6,000 followers, and it's the most I've ever had in my life. And followers means crap. Just so you know, followers means crap. Okay? You gotta have good followers. Engage with your followers. Okay. I'm doing CrossFit, so no thanks. How do you reach them? So this is something I ran into a lot as a new coach. You're not finding people with a problem. If they love CrossFit and they're diehard CrossFit, they don't want to do your at-home workouts because they freaking love what they're already doing. So where do they have a problem? Are they struggling with their nutrition? Also, go watch Micah's. It's under her what am I trying to say? It's under her units in her page, and it's called, she's going to be so mad that I can't remember this. Is it the one on connecting? I just watched it and shared it. Something about, I think it is connecting. But she talks about how she actually words how to share nutrition. Oh, wait, was this on the call last week with Stephanie? Maybe it was. Well, there's somewhere in one training out in the universe. I'm kidding. Find it. But you have to find where their struggle is. Is it nutrition? Are they using supplements when they're going to CrossFit? How many times are they going to CrossFit? Do they say they like CrossFit, or are they going like twice a week? Because like you could do these at home on the other days. Get to know them. The people that need the gym to get out of the house. Okay, well, how much are you actually going? That's great. You like the gym. I like the gym too. I wish I could go, but I'm not dragging 2 kids out of my house. So how many times are they going to the gym? How many times do you get to go to the gym a week? Oh, you're going 3 times? Like, what do you do on your off days? Hey, I don't know if you'd be interested, but I think you'd really like this for those days that you can't get to the gym, or your kids are going crazy, or work was long. You could still get in a workout at your home, and you have like a team, like a supportive community too. Is that something you'd be up for? How do I get people to engage on my posts? I don't. They engage on their own. I think what helps is finding what your followers respond to. Mine respond best to when my life is in total upheaval. It's like they love to watch me flounder and see the calamity. It's crazy. Probably because they're like, yeah, me too. I'm barely struggling to survive over here as well. So like last night I posted something about my insane 3-year-old, and all I put at the end of it was like, who else has a strong-willed child? And I have so many comments for me. It's a lot of comments. But the day before, a Tuesday, I talked about my postpartum journey, and I was like, this is such a great post. Yeah, I'm going to get so much engagement. 0 comments. 0. So it just kind of depends on like it depends on the day, it depends on the time, it depends on the mood of your people, but always kind of like leaving an open-ended question. I find like a question that people want to answer, not like, what are you struggling with too? No one's going to write their struggles on social media for the world to see, but they are going to be like, yeah, my child's freaking crazy as well. So kind of like find that. I also have been like putting my posts into my stories, and I'll like cover it up with like new posts, and then I'll be like, go tell me what you think or something to like get them over to my post. Yeah, Ashley's saying make sure your bio is engaging. Remember that when people come to your page, those first 3 to 6 pictures of what they see is going to decide in a second or less if they want to follow you. Literally a second or less. They're going to look, they're going to be like, oh, she just posts pictures of Shakeology. Nope, don't want to follow them. People also love to help you, so asking for advice and recommendations is always engaging. Oh my gosh, yes, people like, even when you don't ask, they like to tell you everything that worked for them, because surely it will work for you. So even if you plan to take 0 people's advice, ask anyways and pretend. Be a very good pretender that you really do care how they got their 3-year-old to sleep through the night and stop peeing. Anyone can guess my current struggle? Okay. I hope that was helpful. Sorry I get a little fiery. I love you all. I don't know most of you. That's okay. Also to get more people like over to your page, make sure you're tagging brands in your post, tag locations, use hashtags, and then make them really small and put them in the bottom corner of your page, whatever you do. For getting your stories and stuff. Yeah. Okay.